What I'm going to do today, starting from now, people have been asking me, why has this system been so successful? How did you ever get started on something like this? Why did the yogis grow as fast as you have grown, and many of the other schools that discipline the mind? Why is this one so popular now? Because we are now in 72 nations, and we're teaching this method, the Silva method, in 16 languages. Over 7 million people now have taken our training, and we are processing thousands per month in these many nations. The main thing is that people are asking why. So today I'm going to start on the basics of how this came about. First of all, I would like to say that this system, or the Silva method, is a product of a series of coincidences. But then again, a coincidence, as I understand it, or as I would like it to be, is not like the common understanding of the term itself, or the meaning. For me, a coincidence is a certain event, happening of an event, taking place, whose end results are beneficial. Because an event that takes place whose end results are detrimental, I consider an accident. So we did not stumble on this method by a series of accidents. We stumbled, came across this method, discovered it, by using or having experienced a series of coincidences. So to begin with, when I was drafted, like almost everybody my age, during the Second World War, I had a talk with the psychiatrists. And I became very interested in what he was doing. I thought at the time he was asking silly questions. But then again, he was asking these questions to be able to draw answers, to see how one responds, to see if we are all there, if nothing is missing up above. So actually, I became interested in this kind of work, and he gave me a book to read, and from here on, I became interested in the study of psychology. Now, that's psychology, and as everybody knows now, my field has been in electronics. So psychology and electronics now. Let's put them together and see what we can do with it, with them. Now, to begin with, I came across a term in the study of psychology, came across the term hypnosis. I wanted to know what that was. So I studied under the big wigs in the United States. I went and sat at their feet, the big masters in hypnoanalysis, the big hypnoanalysts and medical hypnotists and so forth. I became very proficient in the use of hypnosis. I could help a person enter a certain depth of mind whereby this person could go through surgery without chemical anesthesia. Now that's as deep as you can get anybody. Now from there on, after spending a couple of years on, and 3 years on hypnosis, I came across the term parapsychology. Well, I wanted to know what that was also. So I started to investigate and subscribe to all centers in the United States, New York City, at the time Columbia University had a department, Wayland Baptist University had a department, England, psychic research out of England, Duke University, Dr. Ryan. Bring me up to date. What is parapsychology? This is where I started to talk to Dr. Ryan and met Dr. Ryan personally. Now, in doing so, I thought that parapsychology was a field of science, or a science, that would train people to use what Dr. Ryan used to say, or call extrasensory perception, or ESP. Well, when I talked to the man, he said, there's no such a thing. Nobody can develop such an ability. It's something like the IQ factor. Some have it, some don't have it. Some have more, some have less. Well, to me, that didn't sound right. I didn't feel that whatever we call God, discriminated and gave some of us more and some of us less. I figure that we all have it, but it needs to be developed. It's up to us to develop whatever that is. At any rate, we didn't agree on that particular part of the parapsychological research, and we had a few arguments, Dr. Ryan and myself. I was saying, why do you use hypothetical projects or experiments, Dr. Wright? Why don't you go for the real thing? He said, what do you mean? Well, I mean, instead of using the xenocards and little wavy lines and suppose there is something and let's see what we can do about it, let's not suppose. Let's go for the real existing problem situations and see if one can develop power of mind to be able to resolve such problem situations, to find a solution for them. Anyway, we didn't agree on this. He didn't agree with me. I didn't agree with him either. Continued to study psychology, and I came across the term electrocephalography. Now I'm talking about the electronic equipment that is used to detect and measure brain waves of human beings, human brain waves, the human brain, the study of the human brain. Now that was pretty interesting for me, because me in the field of electronics and playing around with equipment that has to do with electronics, and here we find that using this equipment, we find that the brain vibrates like the heart beats. But the brain vibrates so many times per second, and the heart beats so many times per minute. So the thing is then, looking into the brain, I started to figure, isn't it interesting there's something like cycles in radio? We call thousands of kilocycles in radio, or hertz, you know. Now it's been changed to hertz. It used to be cycles. So, and in television, you know, we talk about millions of, or megacycles, or megahertz. Well, here we're talking about cycles as measured in radio or television, but basic units of measurement. Not thousands of kilos or millions of megas, just simple basic units of measurement. So we're talking about the brain pulses up to an average of about 20 vibrations per second. When one is conscious, the average overall brain frequency that we detect on the human brain is 20 vibrations per second. This is when a person is conscious and awake. But now then, when a person goes to sleep, you see, we only learn to do two things in life with our brain by natural means: to stay awake and or to go to sleep. This is the only two things we learn by natural means. We need to learn to use our brain and learn something else to do with it, not just stay awake and go to sleep. So when one goes to sleep, one enters sleep, and usually a sleep cycle, they call it a sleep and dream cycle, takes about 90 minutes of time. The first time you close your eyes because they feel drowsy and heavy, and you feel so good when you close them, you take a deep breath and you start relaxing your body and your mind. And your brain frequency starts going down from average 20 down to almost one or half a cycle. And here we have a chart that we have that indicates the brain frequency spectrum. We start with a black band at the bottom. We have a red band next to it, a little higher up, and then we have a green band a little higher still. The blue band is at the top. We have starting to black, red, green, and blue. Well, this is brain evolution. Now we need to sidetrack a bit here and go back and see how we have evolved according to the researchers and the scientists who are delving into these areas. They're saying, for instance, and of course we can measure the fetus brain frequency before being born. And that frequency detected is in the black band. And that means between 1/2 cycle and 4 cycles, 4 vibrations. And the child keeps on growing, and the child develops into the red band. We're saying that maybe at one time, way back in time, human beings had no more brain than what's in the black band. Then a little later, maybe a few more million years, we developed the amount that shows in the red band, and so on until we got to the blue band. But then again, it is said that we develop in cycles of 7 years, and they are called anabolic cycles. An anabolic cycle means ending a cycle with more than what you started with. And every time you keep on gaining, they're called anabolic cycles. But if you start losing, then they are called catabolic cycles. So in this case, the first anabolic cycle, the human being goes through, a child develops the first set of teeth, starts to walk and to use his biological senses, but his mind is found to function only inductively. There are no critical consciousness. There are no analytical processes here, no analytical faculty that the child cannot analyze. He always wants to know why. You tell him why, he still wants to know why, and keeps on asking why. The child has no analytical processes. There's no deductive faculty of mind here, only an inductive faculty of mind up to about average 7 years of age. In the second anabolic cycle, between 7 and 14, and here the first anabolic cycle is covered by the black band and the red band. The second anabolic cycle is covered by the green band. Here between 7 and 14, the second anabolic cycle of a human development, the child develops, human being, another set of teeth that's supposed to last him for the rest of his life. Then the child voice, if it's a male, changes into a mature adult voice, and if a female, she goes into her monthly rhythm. Well, here now, we have seriousness in life. We need to know more in order not to get into trouble. So here appears the deductive faculty of the human mind, the analytical processes. Now the child can analyze. The child knows what's right, what's wrong. The child will know whether he is on the right track or not. His consciousness will tell him if he's wrong or if he's right. How does he feel about things? So at any rate, this is the second anabolic cycle. It now has been established and said that at the center of the green band here on the chart, the center of the second anabolic cycle is human intelligence, where the analytical processes came into play and appear in the human being. The center is 10 vibrations per second. And this green band has been labeled by scientists as the alpha band of brain frequencies. You see, the scientists use the Greek alphabet to label these different brain dimensions. A dimension is full 7 subdivisions. Sometimes it's called a kingdom. A kingdom is also 7 subdivisions, such as the kingdom of music, 7 notes, it is said. And we know this is so. The kingdom of pure white light, 7 colors of the rainbow, another dimension of light, or kingdom of light. And the kingdom where biological bodies function on planet Earth, it is said, talked about the 7 chakras, and so on. So here we have the second anabolic cycle, and these scientists have used the Greek alphabet to label the dimensions along with their discoveries. They're not in the proper order. They are in the order of discovery. So naturally, way back when the equipment was not as sensitive, the electrocephalograph was crude, not as sensitive and sophisticated as the modern ones. So naturally, what they would detect was the strongest brain frequency first. So they called it the alpha, because the strongest happened to be in the green region, and that is the strongest, the alpha, the second anabolic cycle. Of course, the second strongest, or next to this, was beta, and that's in the blue band, the third anabolic cycle. It seems like we have not fully developed the third anabolic cycle yet, but at any rate, coming through the second one, in the center of the second one, is the connection to human intelligence. Human intelligence is what others call soul or spirit. You see, we cannot call it soul or spirit in physics, because soul is the shape and form of things, and spirit is the energy of matter. So we cannot call it soul or spirit, we call it human intelligence, to distinguish it from animal intelligence. And you know, animal intelligence functions on 5 cycles in the red band. Sometime way back, maybe we were there, no more than that. But now we bypass that. We don't know whether animals will or not, or whether they're going to get stuck there. That's something to see in a few more million years if we happen to be around. Anyway, we're looking into the second anabolic cycle, the center of human intelligence. Now we know that the center of human intelligence the 10th cycle brain frequency has to do with the connection to the right brain hemisphere. Now we need to keep that in mind. It's very important because the right brain hemisphere has to do with mind. Mind what? Mind is invisible, intangible, spiritual, subjective. Human intelligence is invisible, again, intangible, subjective. Well, when we talk about mind, mind is not a thing. Mind is not of a certain size or color. Mind is a faculty of human intelligence, such as the faculty of focusing is of the eye to see near and far, such as the faculty of hearing, attunement to hear noises and sounds near and far. Well, mind is a faculty of human intelligence. Human intelligence uses this faculty to become attuned to the brain. We now know, by using the electroencephalograph, where human intelligence has attuned its mind onto the brain, whether in the blue region, the beta, the green region, the alpha, the red region, the theta, and so on, by simply detecting or measuring the cycles per second. And we have an idea now what one can do consciously or mind can do with one's mind or human intelligence at the red band, on the green band, and on the blue band. So this is the study of brain and mind research. Now going into this development of these anabolic cycles, it is said that we should develop into, to find the peak of life, into 7 anabolic cycles. Meaning 7 times 7, 49, they call it the peak of life, menopause. Change of life. Well, actually, we find that this is not happening at 49. It's happening earlier. Now, why does it happen earlier? They claim, it is claimed now, because of stress. Stress is what weakens these cycles, is what shortens the cycles by weakening the immune system. It is said, it is known that God created the immune system to keep his creatures healthy. Well, whatever we do that hurts or weakens the immune system will be responsible for shortening our stress. Shortens, remember this, stress is very, very important now. It's up in all news now. Everybody talks about stress, shortens the anabolic cycles. Now, what is stress? Stress is what hurts the immune system. Stress. There are several different stressors. There are 3 major stressors that hurt the immune system the most. There are many minor ones. If you group some minor ones, they become in groups, you know, they could equal a major one. The 3 major stressors that hurt the immune system the most and are responsible for shortening the anabolic cycles, and there goes for catabolic cycles also. That means shortening our lifespan on planet Earth. Now, stopping right there for a moment, we talk about shortening our life on planet Earth. Stress does this. Let's deviate a moment there. What do we mean by life on planet Earth? Well, it is said that we are on a planet. Who does? Astronomers, of course. And a planet, one of several that makes up for a solar system. And the solar system is part of a galaxy. And our galaxy is called the Milky Way. It is said that our galaxy is one of the smallest in the universe. Yet it contains, some say, 250 million solar systems. Can we imagine what the big ones, there's millions of them, billions and millions of galaxies larger than ours. What we're talking about when we talk about the universe. Now sometimes one stops to think, why am I here? Who sent me here? What's the purpose of me being here? I don't recall having been asked, you want to go to planet Earth? Evidently, whoever sent me can sure do it, has the power to do it because I'm here. But then once that I'm here, I want to know what for. How long am I going to be here? I find that this is a temporary stay, because it is said, the medical scientists say that some people die young, some people die older. Overall average, males 74, females 76, the span of life, average. That means that in a period of less than 100 years, the 5 billion people who are on planet Earth will leave the planet, and new people are going to replace us, whether we like it or not. Now, what do we mean? Why are we here? What's the purpose of me being here? What am I supposed to be doing? Because the sooner I get to know the real reason why I'm here, I want to get to work and do my job, meet up with my obligations. But it seems like we are moving in wrong directions. It seems like we have not gotten the message. For some reason, we have not understood what our mission is on planet Earth. Well, here, some are saying we need to go by the Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament. There's so many mysteries in the Bible. It seems like so many interpretations, so many religions, and they don't seem to agree with one another. It's a state of confusion here again. It seems like we cannot understand what we're really on this planet for. And the thing is that the Bible is supposed to be human history. I mean, we agree on this, and we're supposed to read it, and when we make mistakes, supposed to correct them. Well, it seems like we make mistakes, and we keep on making them, and we're not correcting them. Something is wrong in the misunderstanding of what we call the Bible. There are many mysteries. It seems like we need a special state of mind to be able to interpret the Bible, because academic theologians, they cannot explain it. They get up to a point and say, well, you must believe it, and believe what I will say, and that's it. Have faith, they tell you. Well, what is faith? They don't tell you what faith is. How can I develop faith? You don't tell me how to develop faith. I want to have faith, but you tell me how to get it. Well, they don't know. It's blind belief, you know. Just believe what we tell you, and that's it. Well, it doesn't seem to be enough, because we want more answers. Sometimes you start thinking, it is said in the Bible that God, you know, we talk about God as though God is always with us. God is looking at me. God this, God that, and we talk about God. God talked to me. And so these ministers, you know, these preachers on television, oh, God talks to them all the time. Yet they keep on getting into trouble. I wonder why. Anyhow, they talk about God as though God's around all the time. Well, what about the rest of the universe? You mean God is unattending the rest of the universe? The billions of galaxies in space and so on, He's left them unattended just to be around here with us? How important are we then, this small planet of ours, so that God is here, forget about the rest of the universe? We have a different concept of God. We need to start looking into this. When they say God told Adam, when in paradise, you know, Garden of Eden, not to eat from the prohibited tree, you know, well, it was only Adam and Eve. Who was the witness that heard God say this that brought us the message? You start asking the academic theologians, they don't know what to say about that. I say, well, these people were inspired, some prophets were inspired by God, you know, way back in time. And then you ask, why cannot we be inspired by God also? Well, no, that's not possible. Well, why not, you know? The people who were here before were responsible for the planet. Now we are responsible for the planet. If they could have been inspired, we want to be inspired too. And that's it. Well, anyhow, there's no answers here. Something is wrong in the understanding, because we keep on making the same mistakes. Alongside the Old Testament, alongside the New Testament, we continue warring against each other, destroying God's creation, and hurting people and causing suffering. And this is not right. We know it's not right. Something is wrong in our understanding then of such information. Anyhow, we want to get back to basics again. And what is stress? The three major stressors that hurt the immune system the most. You see, sometimes we give more credit to car manufacturers and intelligence than to what we call God, whatever that means now. We need to look into that. Is God a hierarchy of intelligences that govern the whole universe? Some are assigned to bigger galaxies, some are assigned to smaller galaxies. If so, we want to know who's assigned to our galaxy, so we can get in touch through them to the supreme of the one who reigns over the whole universe. Now that's something else to think about. Anyhow, the one who thought about, you know, we give, I'm saying, more credit to car manufacturers because they thought about putting a jack in the back trunk just in case you get a flat tire. What made us believe that the creator of our bodies was not smarter than that to add something to the body like the immune system to keep us healthy. Now, there's something to think about. So the immune system is a very important mechanism. We do not want to hurt it. Now, what are the major stressors that hurt the immune system the most? There are three major stressors. Number one, the worst one of all, guilt complex. You know what that means? That consciousness tells you not to do what you're doing and you continue to do it anyway. Now, that's the worst one of all. That's the one that hurts the immune system the most. This is what they're blaming AIDS for now. They claim that AIDS is the cause of this. I mean, you know, we're moving in such a wrong direction, talking about stressors. We bring it on ourselves. You know, they call it free sex nowadays. That's one of them. Well, free sex had its ups and downs. You know, free sex creates a lot of problems. At first, it was venereal diseases. Oh, horrible, you know. But then again came penicillin to save us, and we continue making the same mistake because we're using that function erratically. We're jumping on almost anything we can think of. We shouldn't be doing this. Animals have better respect for their mates now. Animals are practicing higher ethical standards in that area of sex than many human beings nowadays. And that's not right, because we're supposed to be more intelligent. And because of making such a mistake, using that function in the wrong manner, we suffer for it. Now, even though we have penicillin, now how are we going to get rid of AIDS? Brought about the same reason, the same purpose, because we are using that function in a wrong sense. It is for procreation only, not for anything else. Again, that's major stressor number one. Stressor number one means we're moving in the wrong direction. We're guilty and continue to make the same mistakes. And so actually, looking into this, notice, when we talk about moving in the wrong direction, we are paying the entertainers of television, of radio, of news, or let's say station screen or whatever, more money than we are scientists who are doing their best to solve problems for us. I mean, in the next program, I'm going to get more involved into this as to how can we tell that we are moving in the wrong direction. So actually, next program, we get more involved into pointing out the bad direction we're taking so as to make corrections. So we'll see you then, and we'll meet again in the next program. So good day and good luck to everybody. God bless.
In this new book, Creative Coincidences, Jose Silva, founder of the Silva Mind Control Method, reveals how you can start influencing the coincidences in your life. It's available from booksellers worldwide, so get your copy today and get started tonight influencing the coincidences in your life to lead you to more success in your personal and business life.